I don't want to see a new Cold War. I remember the old one. It was pretty nasty. There was a real threat of thermonuclear destruction. That's not coming back, but there's no question that our relations with Russia are going through a very difficult phase. And we've had to respond to the first use of nerve agent on the European continent since NATO was invented. We've expelled, as you know, 23 diplomats, spies masquerading as diplomats. That will eviscerate Putin's intelligence capabilities in this country for decades to come. We believe it's the right response, a proportionate response. Well, I think it's very important that we remain vigilant, and as you know, the UK is there to support our friends around the European continent. We're there in Estonia, 800 UK troops on the borders, near the border with Russia, helping to give security and a sense of confidence there in the Baltics. We're very strongly protective and defensive of what's happening in the Western Balkans. And the UK, as the Prime Minister has said, remains unconditionally committed, irrespective of our relationship with the European Union, unconditionally committed to the security of Europe. I've got to be very careful what I say here, because obviously if I start identifying people we live under the rule of law in this country. It's not up to politicians to say, go after that person, take their wealth away. That's how tyrannies behave. That's the sort of thing you'd expect to see in Russia. It is up to the National Crime Agency, to the Economic Crime Unit to identify people whose wealth may have been acquired by gross corruption, theft from the Russian state, association with Vladimir Putin. That can be taken away with unexplained wealth orders. There's the statute there now, new laws we have in force, and work is going on that now. But I want to stress one thing. I don't want to see a big outbreak of Russophobia in this country. I don't want to see ordinary Russians living here, working here, feeling that they are unloved, unwelcome as a result of the very serious problems that we're having in our relations with Russia at the moment. No, I think if you look at what the UK did, what Theresa May did, was entirely within the treaty for the prohibition of chemical weapons. We gave them a deadline to explain, as we're entitled to do under Article 9, saying, look, there are two possible explanations for the use of Novichok, a Russian nerve agent, on the streets of Salisbury. Either it has escaped somehow from your stocks, alternatively, it's Russian state agency. Please help us, please explain what is going on. They totally dismissed it. Their attitude is one of a kind of smug sarcasm to what has happened. They want it both ways. They want simultaneously to deny it, but also to send the message to the people of Russia, to anybody who might think of defecting in future. Look what happens. This is what we do to people who disagree with our regime.
Do you think
I think it's very important for people not to worry and not to be nervous. And the UK government is taking every possible precaution to ensure the safety of the public. I don't think that this represents a threat to people's basic safety, but what it certainly represents is a deterioration in our relations with Russia. But what I've always said is that we hold out the hand of engagement. If they want to engage, if they want to make things better, then it's up to them. But they need to change their pattern of behaviour. And I think what you're seeing around the world is condemnation from our European friends, from the Americans. You saw a very strong denunciation from the White House, from the US ambassador to the UN. People can see what is happening, what happened in Wiltshire, in Salisbury, as part of a pattern of a rogue behaviour by Russia, involving the use of chemical weapons that stretches from Syria to Salisbury.